Hey guys, good morning. My last few videos has probably been a bit sort of, I don't know, maybe a little bit sort of pasting over quite a lot of the problems. I don't think it's deliberate. Well, it is deliberate. I think I just sort of, I don't feel people need to always hear about what problems people have and like, you know, oh, this is so difficult and that is so difficult. But it is very important, and you know, somebody pointed out to me yesterday that it is really important to at least be honest with people, because the last thing you want to do is think, oh well, how look how easy life can be, and just go and get on with it. Whilst that matters, you know, it is important to be a bit honest. So here I am. Look, this is me, honest. Just got out of bed. I've put a t-shirt on. That is about it. I need to put a brush through my hair, but I thought I'd just give you a bit of a rundown of sort of from an honest point of view what my every single morning routine is like. So yeah, here I am. This is me. And I suppose it's a good place to start. First things first though, I've got to do something with this hair. It's a disaster. Okay, so every morning before I even start worrying about my hair or even doing my teeth, I have done my teeth by the way, or even doing my teeth, I use a Fix and Prime spray, this one. What essentially that does is it just creates quite a nice base layer for the makeup to apply to. And the reason I do it first is it gives me a chance to sort of fart around, do my hair, brush my teeth, things like that whilst it sets on my face. Close your eyes. Close your mouth and just spray it around. I try and get that bit there because that bit is still quite rough from laser. It's not hairy anymore. I haven't actually shaved at all this morning and I don't think it's too bad. So anyway, what I do, spray that on and then just leave it. You don't have to worry about it, just leave it, let it dry. And whilst it's drying, I sort of try and just do, oh my gosh, is this how I actually look? Am I really doing this? How embarrassing. Try and do a bit of something in my hair. I'm using a really big flat brush because I've got quite long, boring, straight hair. I mean, literally, guys, I washed this last night and this is just how it sits. There's no natural wave, natural curl, but, you know, just learning to sort of live with it. Generally, to stop it all sticking out, you see it sort of puffs out here at the sides where it sits over my shoulders. Just get the brush and just sort of give it a bit of a twist as you're pulling it down and it can sort of just bring that curl in. And again the same sort of this side, so sort of back just to give it that shape and then down just to sort of put that little bit of a curl in. It's still a bit naff on the ends. I'm not straightening my hair this morning. I haven't really got the inclination. I'm not going anywhere today. We're just sat at home most of the day. We've got some friends coming over, so I'm not going absolutely mad at it. But anyway, what we do is pull that forward a bit. I'm trying to get a bit of a fringe. It's really hard because the length's not there. But it sort of sits almost like that now, and then like gently tucked under, and then give that a bit of a, no, I don't really know. I don't know. I've got horrible hair. I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes I put it back over to one side like that. I think it looks quite cute. But anyway, there we go. It's all going to get moved around because I've got to do the makeup. So I'm going to pause for a second, and when we get back, hopefully my face will be dry, and we can start practicing my everyday really boring makeup technique. Okay, here we go. Okay, so whilst we're waiting, my face is pretty much dried now. Like all things, it needs a solid foundation, you know, so that's the first thing I do. Now, whether it's down to, I get quite dysphoric about my top lip, because even after laser, admittedly, I haven't shaved this morning because I can't feel any hair here. It's smooth, like both ways. It's smooth, but you can still see there's like a sort of a darker sort of area. However, because of laser, I've had about 12 sessions now, and because of laser, it's a million times better than it was. I'll try and put, I don't know if I can do it, I'll try and put a little picture up here of how bad it was after the first session. Try and do it. But nevertheless, what I end up doing is using a much sort of higher pigment foundation. As it happens, I actually use this. I know I could probably just go down Tesco, but I currently use that one, which is a free W Crayola paint stick. And yeah, I know it's stage makeup, but the reality is it's really high pigment and I don't have to put anything like as much of it on, so it ends up actually looking a bit lighter on my face at the end. So what we'll do now is I'm going to put this on. Now, I know people, and believe me, I have in the past, just gone and draw it all over their faces. I don't really, it doesn't really work for me. I have this, it's actually, I know this is terrible, this is why this is not a tutorial, right? But I have this manky old brush that I can just keep it in my bag. It's not even got a handle on it anymore. It doesn't matter, I can hold it. And it's a fan brush. And literally, I basically just sort of backwards and forwards, get loads on the brush, sort of try and do backwards and forwards to get both sides, and then start to just press it into the skin. It's just occurred to me that the picture quality on this video is particularly poor, but you know, it doesn't matter. I'll just end up looking naff today. It's fine. Right, what we'll do is I'll carry on doing this, and then we'll fast forward a little bit. Okay. Okay, so that is, oh God, state of me. That is me just about done. Okay, all it really does is just even out some of the sort of the difference in colours. The lighting in here is terrible, sorry, but it evens out some of the difference in colours, which means that we can move on to the bit I always try and sort of do next. At the moment, this is just high street stuff. It's L'Oreal True Match. I need a new one, as you can see. Blending, they call it perfecting powder. I don't feel perfect, I can assure you, but it's easy enough. Comes with a little applicator. It's quite handy to keep in my handbag as well. And what that basically allows me to do is just sort of take just a little bit of that sheen off, but more importantly, it leaves quite a nice base for the next bit, which we will come onto once we've done a pause and a bit of a fast forward. I'm saying that, do we need it? No. Actually, to be fair, that is probably going to do it. I'm not putting loads of makeup on today. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to see anyone. I mean, well, maybe some people are going to see this. I don't know. I don't care. Right. Anyway, moving on to the next bit. Okay? Okay, so the next bit for me, every morning, and this is just mornings. It's not if I'm going out clubbing or if I'm going to be out doing something posh, something nice, rare chance. Next bit for me is a bit of highlight and the littlest bit of contour. I don't over contour if I can avoid it. I'm definitely not following any sort of special technique that I've been taught or anything like that. I just literally, I do it the bodgiest way. This is not a tutorial, not a tutorial, it's just a bodgy way. Anyway, this is the B range from Superdrug, and it's a contour kit. It's, as you can probably see, again, this is running out. I use the highlighter a lot more than I use the contour. I think they know that. That's why they only give you a little bit of highlighter and they give you loads of contour, because they're not going to use much of it. Anyway, I had a friend say to me a while ago, whilst I'm doing this, I had a friend say to me a while ago that she gets really annoyed because she's got she had a break in her nose, and whenever she tries to contour, she gets this big lump in her nose. So generally what I do is I just get a small brush, because I've got a horrible nose now. I mean, look at it. It's awful. I'm going to have it done. I can get the money. All I really do is I take this brush and I just go into the middle roughly and just sort of take a bit of a line down the middle like that. Then just a little bit under this bit here where I've sort of got this brow bone, just to sort of take that shadow out a little bit. I don't use lights. I try really hard, all joking aside. I know it's like, here's my morning makeup routine for natural makeup with however many products, but the reality is I do try really hard not to just wear, or at least not to look like I'm wearing mountains and mountains of makeup. And I don't know, it might just be the light, but really I think that starts to just bring sort of a bit of definition to there. It's really hard to tell, and this isn't the best light, but you can sort of see if I turn a little bit that it starts to actually form just a bit of a line. And the other bit that I like to highlight in the mornings, because frankly, I've got quite nice cheeks now, I quite like, and they've definitely grown. And so I just like to accentuate that a little bit more. This is even worse, guys. Definitely not a tutorial, right? This is even worse. But what I actually do, watch, look, it's gross, right? Finger in there, and then just literally just put a tiny little bit of highlighter. Doesn't need to be loads, because otherwise I end up, my eyes are already quite far back in my head, and I don't like to have them looking too far set back, but just along the top of that cheek. Doesn't really matter if it's not spot on at the minute, because we're going to blend it all in a minute, okay? And then same again, I just dip my finger in, do the other side. One side always seems to come out better than the other side as well. I try not to worry about it, but that is just, I don't know, whether it's the light or whether it's just I've got a lopsided face. I think I've probably got a bit of a lopsided face. Definitely got a lazy eye. Yeah, look, my eyes are definitely not the same size. Probably shouldn't keep looking at myself in videos and in mirrors, because it doesn't do you any favours. Right, anyway, I think it just brings, and you can see when I sort of move in the light a little bit, the lighting's horrible, sorry, but when I move in the light a little bit, I think it brings just a bit of definition out, and once it's blended, it looks a bit more subtle. Right, what's next? Oh, I got really close when I restarted the camera. Oh, this certainly is far too honest. Right, okay, so the next bit, using the same palette, same one we were using a minute ago, I'm just going to contour a little bit, and people judge me for methods, whatever, that's fine, I don't really care. This is how I do it, and I do it every day. So again, it's my finger, give it a bit of a wipe, there we go, give it a bit of a wipe, and just cover it. I try and cover both sides of it a little bit, in the darker side, so sort of like that. And then with my nose, you can't quite see it, but if I trace that line down the side where I've put the highlight, and just trace it out with my finger, so you're not actually following anything on the nose as such, just following the line that you've already put there with a highlighter. And then slightly, it's quite easy with a finger, you see, because you can get quite a lot on and you get fairly good control over it. I'm a bit shaky hands, I mean, well, that's a bit of a joke, but they're a bit shaky. But then just a little bit up into the corners as well. It's going to look really dark, it's going to look really over the top to start with, but don't worry, because that's why we blend. That's what we're going to do in a minute, okay? And then sometimes, oh god, no, hang on, let's fix that bit. That's fine, that'll all blend out, it'll be fine. Sometimes, I might today, just because we're doing it, is I kind of try and bring this line in a bit as well. So if one makes that fishy face, you can sort of see where that line wants to be, like here. And then all I'm doing is just really subtle, like really gentle, because otherwise, if you're not careful, you just end up looking like you've got mountains makeup on. Okay, so you can really see it's starting to actually give a bit of a shape. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to do some colour. Because it's winter, I have a little bit of blush, so we'll pause here, move on. Okay, so because I'm quite pale sometimes, particularly in the winter, I always feel really pale. So what I've been trying to do, I never really get rosy cheeks. I just have this big blotchy mess of a face. So the smallest bit of blush, this is a blush powder, it's Destroyed, it's from B, which is Superdrug, cruelty free, not tested on animals, and some of this stuff is not. Sorry, but some of it's not. I've just been using it for years. I try not to, and generally now I buy a lot of my stuff from B, because Superdrug, all of their own range stuff now is cruelty free. Anyway, a little bit on the brush, tap the brush off, and then between sort of where that highlight and where that contour is, just the tiniest bit. I mean, it's not loads, and I mean not loads, because otherwise you end up looking like Andy Pandy. Oh, am I showing my age, Andy Pandy? I don't know who's going to be watching these videos, but I bet they know. But they don't know who Andy Pandy is. I might be a bit over the top. It's a little bit over the top this morning. That's fine, it's because the lighting's terrible. Right. Anyway, that's that. Then I've got a brush. I don't know if this is a particular blending brush. I bought like a load of brushes on Amazon. I'll put a link at the bottom. They're actually quite good. And they were like £7 for loads of brushes. I've got loads of them. There you go. There's loads of them. That was my God, I hope nobody saw that. Anyway, generally when I'm blending, I start with my nose and sort of work both ways. So in and out, almost pressing in, and then it's more of a sort of this sort of motion, just so you're pushing it into the skin, not necessarily great big circles blending it around. You're not painting a wall. It's a face, you know. It's got texture. It's got impurities. You know, mine has definitely got imperfections. Anyway, so a bit of blending. I don't think that's too far off actually. I'm fairly relaxed with that. And there we go. Phase 1 complete. I have a face. Yay! I suppose we better move on. What's next? Oh, eyes. Okay, so some eye effects are really cool. Great big colours and, you know, great cat-like eyeliner. Who has got time for that in the morning before work? You know, that's bad enough. I'm already up like an hour earlier than I used to have to be. I've already got to get up at the crack of dawn to go and start work. Who's really got time to go and look that, you know, intense all the time? Well, some people have. This girl, certainly not. Okay, so anyway, generally with eyes I do a few things. One, I just try and lighten the lid a little bit. Using this, actually, this came with my first Birchbox order. Birchbox is a really good way to try out different makeups, they've got things like cleansers. There's all sorts of beauty products in there, and it's a subscription thing. No, I'm not on commissions, no adverts, I'm sorry, just saying it. So I tried it for a few months. I don't subscribe anymore as it happens, but I tried it for a few months. I've got some really cool stuff. What this has got actually is a natural sort of tones. So you can sort of see, again, it's all running out. All this is running out because I use it so much. Every single day I go through this. You're watching it for however many minutes, every day. I use just the lighter one at the moment, just across the top of or really the bottom, just across the lid really, like that. Not over the top. I'm not putting that whole, what's it called? There's no sort of false eyelid, no contouring, no artsy fartsy over the top big colours or anything like that. Just a tiny little bit of highlight on that top lid. It occurs to me while I'm doing this, this isn't about me being some sort of self-centered or professed, even close to attractive person, right? Because I've got a lot of body and indeed image issues. But from a practicality point of view, I have to do this every morning before work. And so, you know, it took me ages, and I mean ages and ages and ages, to get to a stage where I could actually get sort of a reasonable, and I mean reasonable, it's not particularly good, but I could just get to a reasonable, comfortable face on my body and then go to work. So I suppose that's probably why I'm sharing, just to show that makeup doesn't have to be this big complicated thing. Don't always do it, depends where I'm going, what mood I'm in. But what I do, instead of farting around with loads of eyeliner, because I think it just makes my eyes look heavy, it might suit you, doesn't really suit me. So if I use that darker sort of colour, that one there, just use that darker sort of colour on the very edge of the applicator. And then just touch in along the bottom lid. And it is really gentle. Really quite subtle. No more than about sort of halfway, I've gone a little bit far this time, no more than about sort of halfway across the eye. That one's a bit heavier. That one's a bit too heavy. It doesn't matter though, because it's only eyeshadow. It's not like waterproof mascara, eyeliner stuff. You can just take the edge off like that. Okay, so just gives a bit of shape. I suppose next one's the mascara, really. So here we go. Mascara is a miracle for me. I've got, well, look, it doesn't look like I've got any eyelashes. Look, horrendous. And so I wear mascara, even if I'm not going to wear foundation and makeup and everything else, the rest of it. I still wear a bit of mascara in the day, so it gives me pretty eyes. And I use the same, funny enough, again, it's Superdrug. I went through this whole stage of just buying all my stuff from Superdrug, so it's really, really good. This is their B lengthening mascara. I'm sorry about all the packaging on this stuff, guys, but it just lives in my handbag with me all the time. It's like I end up carrying a sack around. It's getting better, but I always used to. Anyway, it was good to do a quick shake. Quick shake. Oh, I could do a cocktail video as well. Oh God, no. Brain wondered. And a couple of Debs out. Just watch it's not getting too clumpy when it comes off on the end, because the last thing you want to do is get like clumpy bits on the end of it and then they go everywhere. And all you're really doing is just, or all I'm really doing, I shouldn't keep saying you, sorry, you don't have to do this. There's no pressure to wear makeup. I just decided for me that it made me feel better. And all I'm doing is just trying to bring this little bit of definition from sort of the very back, bit of pressure when it's right up against the eye. And then a bit of a flick at the end, so nice and gentle, not using loads. And then again at the bottom. What do you think? I'm just trying to... What do we think? I think that's alright for today. I'm not going anywhere, am I? And then some more of this. I'm going to need some more of this. I'm sorry about the tattoo. I'm getting it done. I've got the back nearly finished, which I quite like. I think it's really cute. Temple of the Sun and Moon in Fleet. A guy called Rob is just so talented. I mean, if you look what this was like before and what he's managed to do with it now, I'm just loving it. I can't wait. Got the next one booked in. Really excited. Anyway, next eye. This is the bit where I go and just put mascara all over my face and then have to start all over again. I won't. I'll just roll back the video and edit it to look like I got it exactly right. I wouldn't do that to you guys. I'll be honest with you. This is my closest thing to honest today. I'm trying to be a bit of a better person. I think the last couple of videos, what I've possibly done is just portray this, how peachy everything is, you know, how easy life can be, particularly when I made some comments about hormones in a previous video. I think quite a few people got upset with me. And so this is kind of my way of saying, like, you know, if we're just going to say, if I'm going to say things like, don't worry, you can just get on with it, then hopefully I can give some relatively practical advice. Anyway, so mascara, what do we think? It's a bit thick today. I quite like it. Quite like it. Okay, right, next bit, I've got to do my brows, because as you can see, they're horrendous. Okay, so we're going to pause and off the brows. Okay, so I occasionally have my eyebrows waxed, and I mean very occasionally, because I've got a horrible shape. They're quite flat, they're quite sort of bulky here, and there's like, because of this is actually a scar that I've got from when I was younger, much younger. But anyway, I've sort of started to embrace it a little bit. When I had them waxed last time, I had them tinted by my cousin, actually. She did it, or my cousin's wife, I should say. So it's not technically my cousin, but she's, you know, family. And what that sort of showed me was that sometimes those darker colours actually quite suit someone with a hair colour, skin tone like mine. So anyway, this one, I think it's Rimmel. Yeah, Rimmel Black Brown. I've had this for donkey's years. To be honest, don't even remember where I got it, but you know, you can probably pick the same similar sort of thing up. It's got a little brush on the end, which is pretty handy. And what I sort of do is just sort of brush up, so it takes that stray away. I haven't got those beautiful curved eyebrows. As much as I'd love to sort of just have them permanently removed and then microbladed, I don't. It doesn't really suit me. I need that sort of just natural, but a bit awful look for me. So same sort of both sides. And then really, guys, I don't go too over the top, like plucking away to nothing. I just try and sort of fill in some of the bits. I've never done this in the camera or on the phone before. So all I'm doing with the pencil is just trying to fill in a little bit of the, where the colour changes, where it gets a bit lighter. I don't keep this that sharp, this pencil, actually. I should, because it just gives you a bit more control. But not trying to create this, you know, unrealistic curve, still sort of sitting to the natural shape. There's a reason my eyebrows are this shape. That's the shape of my face. Oh my gosh, that's well over the top. But don't worry, because what we'll do is we'll brush it back up a little bit. Okay? That's not too bad. My finger. That is alright. I can just about live with that, to be honest, for today. I've got horrible eyebrows. I'm sort of used to it. Might have to get them waxed again. Get them shaped a bit. And then maybe just sort of smooth this line out a little bit, because, you know, that's kind of a fairly natural sort of shape for me. What do we think? I know it's a bit lumpy here. I probably should have gotten done. I don't really have time. That's the honest truth. Like I say, this is all just about real life, you know, every morning. To be honest, it's not as bad as that. I can knock it out in, you know, half an hour. I can be up and out and dressed now, as long as I've sort of washed the night before. A bit of a wash. I've never really been a morning shower person. I know some people say, oh, it's so invigorating, you really enjoy a morning shower. I really enjoy sleeping, and so anything that gets in the way of that is not going to help invigorate me in the morning. Okay, right. There we go. That, for me, I can sort of live with. I've got quite heavy eyebrows. I'm sort of used to it now. I don't think it's too Groucho Marx, is it? I don't know. I think it quite suits me. Anyway, by the time my hair's sorted out a bit, that's about where we're at now. I think it sits alright. So, let's get that brush. See, I don't think that's too bad. Bit heavy, but not too bad. So where else is left to do? Oh, I've got to do something about these. Look, my paper thin, really boring lips. Okay, let's go. Okay, so yeah, lips are easy really for me. I know people get liners and they draw all sorts of beautiful contours and shapes and fluff them out. It's not that exciting. I just use a lipstick. It's a fairly natural colour. This is a MAC one as it happens. Jubilee. No, is it going to focus? It's called Jubilee anyway. Number 509 at MAC Luster. And then just sort of just do the lips. It's really not that difficult. She says, look, I'm going to go draw right across my face now. I suppose the thing for me is not trying to overemphasize, because I've got quite naturally... Sorry, it's hard to talk on, isn't it? But I've got quite naturally thin lips. So if I go a little bit too overkill with it, if I go over the top with it, it can look really not very me. So anyway, yeah, there we go. Lips, that was easy. Bit more, just a bit of colour in the bottom. Okay, what do we think? I don't know, there we are. So yeah, there we go. It's now, what time is it? It's not quite 10 to 10 on Sunday morning. And I'm just about ready to go and sort of get myself dressed, sit downstairs and not do an awful lot for the rest of the day. Guys, this isn't about the fact that I think I look good, because, oh my gosh, I've just done all this and look, I look an absolute wreck. Oh well, never mind. But the object of the exercise here is just to show, you know, that being realistic, makeup doesn't have to be this massive thing. It can just be sort of get it done. I mean, it's taken, you know, half an hour. Normally it'd be a bit quicker if I wasn't chatting away at the same time, stopping, pausing, editing, whatever. I'll put a list of products and that either in the description or in the link just as reference, but, you know, not a tutorial and certainly not advertising any of those products. They're just the things that I've picked up over the years. That's what sits in my bag. Yeah, so really, I don't know if there's been any help to anybody, if nothing else, it's shown you that, you know, even I am an absolute wreck every single morning, and this is what I have to go through day in, day out before I can even go outside. Anyway, so with that in mind, stay beautiful, stay happy, and peace and love, guys. Hope you have a good weekend. Bye. Hi, so welcome to the post video. I don't normally do post videos, but I thought there was a few things I should definitely clear up about this one. I don't want you to think that I'm sort of getting a bit obsessed with this whole look at me thing, because I'm really not. Honestly, guys, I think that, you know, the reason I'm trying to put this stuff together is because it wasn't there when I was growing up. I didn't have these sort of videos, you know, to turn to when I was growing up. I didn't have people just being visible and straight and honest about, you know, trans wasn't even a word to me until I was nearly 16 years old. It just didn't, you know, exist as a word until I was about that age. So, you know, I feel that this is much more about me just sort of possibly creating content that I wish I'd had, and just being sort of fairly open, fairly honest, and just totally clear with you guys that, you know, life is going to be harder. Life is going to be difficult. There are going to be challenges. Harder might not be the right word. Because my life generally has improved. I've still got, you know, a lot of things that I worry about. And there's a lot of upset in the family. I have lost some friends, not many, but I've lost some friends over this as well. But, you know, the point is that I just want you to see that it can be sustainable, that life can be achievable, that, you know, it doesn't have to be a total disaster and a wipeout. So anyway, I hope that in some small way that maybe one day this might actually help, even if it just helps one person get through one day. Then, you know, it's done what I wanted to do. So yeah, anyway, guys, I hope you have a lovely weekend, and catch you soon. Bye.